pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we need a motion to open the public hearing to establish regulations and guidelines for cryptocurrency business in the town of Massena.
Motion.
Pat, and a second,
I'll
please.
second it.
Adrian, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, we'd like to ask interested people to, if you would like to speak, please stand up. Tell us your name, because Janine's already given me my orders. She has to have your names for the minutes, okay? All right. So please, who would like to speak first? Oh, right ahead. Yes. And you are,
My name is, should I stand here or?
you can right out here, whatever you do, I don't care, just let everybody know who you are.
Sure. And everyone can hear me okay? Okay, wonderful. And I don't want to put my back to you, but my name is David Fogel. I'm CEO of NCCS. We operate in the old Alcoa East facility. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak to all of you, including the public. I also want to mention I have about 30 of my colleagues from our facility who are here tonight or this afternoon, taking time away, which we appreciate. Too many to introduce, but some of them have been there since inception of our facility about 6 years ago. And all of them obviously depend on their jobs and our site and our business for their livelihood. And some of them might want to speak about that in a few minutes, but I thought I would take the opportunity to share a little bit of information about our company. I know we've met with, I think, all of the council members, either one-on-one or in small groups where we've given them tours, but I know members of the public have not necessarily heard much about our company. And I thought it might be time for me to come up here and introduce myself, introduce the business to the public. So I want to share first some background on our company and then get into why we're concerned about these regulations. So first thing I want to do is tell you about our company. So NCCS, North Country Co-Location Services, we started our business about 6 to 7 years ago at that site. And obviously you know better than I, being from here, that was a dormant site with virtually no prospects. And we've turned it into an incredible business, honestly. We started with about 5 contract workers at that site. Now we have 85 full-time employees. These employees are receiving competitive pay and generous benefits. And I just want to give you 2 examples of the types of benefits that we offer. First of all, if you are on an individual health plan at our company, you pay nothing as an employee. The company covers the entire health premium, number 1. Number 2, 401k. We started a 401k program. The company it's not about matching employee contributions. The company actually contributes 5% of each employee's gross pay to the 401k. So we go beyond matching. And I would challenge anyone to tell me who else, what other companies in the area offer generous benefits like that. So we care about our employees. We've grown consistently throughout that 7-year period, even during the economic downturn, even during the crypto meltdown. We continue to add to our staff. Now, we're one of the largest taxpayers in St. Lawrence County and in the town of Massena. We paid over $5 million in 2022 and 2023 each year in taxes. We spend millions of dollars a year just maintaining this large facility that we operate. I know many of you are familiar with it. It's almost 1 million square feet of space. Just to maintain it costs millions of dollars a year. On top of that, we've been continuously enhancing and growing the facility within the structure we're in since inception. That's added even more millions of dollars. So literally, we've spent tens of millions of dollars over that period investing in that site. And for almost all of that activity, we're using local and regional suppliers. So that's electrical suppliers, it's temporary labor, and all sorts of vendors for this activity, and in almost all cases, it's local and regional suppliers. And just to name a few, Paris has been a big supplier of ours. I don't know if Scott was able to make it, but here he is. And I appreciate you coming, and I look forward to talking to you. But as I'll tell you in a minute, we've got a major expansion project that we've been pursuing. And, companies like Paris probably are going to be part of that. But already we've spent millions of dollars over the years with Paris. CDM, US Ecology, the local office of Fastenal. I could go on and on. Those are just the ones right here in town, let alone ones outside of this area in St. Lawrence County and beyond. Now, beyond that, we also give back to the community. And this is something we don't like to brag about, we don't like to talk about, but in this context where we feel like we're being sort of singled out to some extent with these regulations, we feel like we need to explain to the community all the good things we're doing. I have a full-time person, Jordan Tebow, who is her full-time job is external engagement. She's from the area, many of you know her. We support back-to-school programs. We support the fire department, the police department, first responders consistently every year. The fishing tournament, we were one of the lead sponsors on that. I could go on and on. Every time we're asked, pretty much, we're contributing to the community. Another point, the St. Regis Mohawk tribe, important members of our broader community. We've got a great relationship with them. We employ a number of their community members. We're trying to expand that employment. We're also working with them to try to find tribe-owned suppliers who can also service our business and get a piece of that millions of dollars a year that I mentioned. Now, why are we concerned? I gotta say, the regulations, I'm not someone who says there should be no regulation of crypto. There's already discussion at the federal level, state level, about regulating crypto. And honestly, I'm for that, because predictability is very important. One of the problems in business is when it's unclear, it's unpredictable, it's hard to move forward, it's hard to grow, it's hard to raise capital. So I support that. Now locally, if there are issues with, for example, small pop-up operators on the side of the road that are unsightly, that are making noise, causing a nuisance to the community, maybe are unsafe, and by the way, probably aren't employing many people, and the community feels, the town council feels there's a need to regulate that, that's fine. I'm focused on our business. But we're very different than that, and this is what's really critical. We operate in an industrial zone. We've got a massive site. It's a completely different situation. No one's complaining about noise from our site because any residences are far away and the noise is contained. No one's complaining about seeing containers, ugly containers or servers, because all of that is contained in a building, so people can't see through and see what's inside. We're following all local ordinances and federal rules in terms of OSHA, for example. Fire code, we get inspected by the fire department. We have a great relationship with them. All of these rules and regulations we're already following. So to then layer on top a set of rules, for example, just one example, fire requirements that for a site our size are impossible to meet, literally, and cost prohibitive doesn't make sense. It very well might make sense for a small operator, I get that. But those same rules shouldn't apply to a site like ours. So let me talk for a moment about the expansion that I referred to earlier. We are about 3 years in to a $100 million expansion of our site. $100 million. So we've been spending time on this. We've been spending millions of dollars on this expansion. We got approval from the state regulatory authorities, the energy authorities, NISO, NIPA, etc. The governor, we've met with one-on-one. She is supportive of it. She loves the fact that we're creating more jobs in the North Country. Her staff is supportive of it. Many in the legislature are supportive of it, including, of course, our local representatives and senators. So we've got a lot of support, and that's why we've been continuing. And frankly, we've involved the council members. We've talked to you about it. We've invited you in to show you what's going on. And so we've been proceeding and spending all this money and time, assuming that this was going to be fine. And then all of a sudden, these regulations are thrust upon us, and now we're very concerned about it, because here's the problem. $100 million we don't have. Okay? We don't have anything close to that. So we need to raise outside capital to do it. And we've been talking to investors about contributing that capital. And they've asked about the moratorium, because that's public information. And what we've said, which is true, the moratorium doesn't apply to us. We were grandfathered in. And then when we say, and they might replace the moratorium with regulations, that's the long-term goal. Our understanding always was that those regulations would not apply to us. And so we've been proceeding on that basis. The moment we tell these capital providers that we have regulations that on their face apply to us, the way it's written, even if that's not the intent. And by the way, I honestly believe, we haven't talked directly about it, I don't believe the council members actually want us to be covered. But on the face, that's the way it works. And so we're very concerned about it, because there's no way these capital providers are going to provide the money when they see that language. And so we're trying to get that changed so we can proceed, so we can hire more people, probably doubling our workforce, tripling our revenue, our tax payments, tripling to the county. And a lot of that money comes back to the community. But hiring more workers, paying more taxes, all of these positive things. And by the way, hiring companies like Paris and others to do the work. When I say $100 million project, that's a lot of money. Much of that's going to be spent on local suppliers. Now, there's another point I want to make, and I think it's important to understand the economics of crypto mining for a moment, and why we're so concerned about the regulations. I think there might be a perception that, we're in the crypto business, we're wildly successful, we're making all this money, and this expansion is just an opportunity to make more money. And I think it's worth a couple minutes for me to explain how the economics of this industry work. And the way I'll do it is with an analogy like this. So let's just say that the council decided they wanted to encourage more people to show up to these meetings. And they said, okay, we're going to provide a big apple pie and divide it up to everyone who shows up. We're going to give everyone a slice. And the first month, 50 people show up, so everyone gets an even 2% slice of that pie. And then the next month, word gets out, now 100 people show up, and everyone gets 1%, smaller slice. And then the next month, you decide, you know what, that pie is expensive, so we're going to provide just a pie that's half the size of the old pie, make it smaller. And at the same time, 200 people show up. So now every person who shows up is getting 0.5% of that pie, and the pie itself has shrunk by half. Okay, that is what's happening in the crypto mining industry. The pie is the reward, the money, the revenue that you earn from mining. The people showing up, that is the computers, like the ones we have in our facility. So the number of computers worldwide keeps going up, but the number in our facility is capped out without an expansion. And so we used to be, I don't think I've said this publicly, but I'll say it now. Our facility used to be 2% of the global computing power doing mining. You know what it is today? Well less than 1%, heading towards 0.5%. So exactly that analogy I gave you is what's happening to us. And in April, 1 month almost from, actually 1 month from today, April 20th, there's something called the halving happening, which means that pie is being cut in half. The reward available from mining is being cut in half, which means overnight our revenue goes down by 50%. Now you might say, you're crazy, why are you in this business? Because the economics aren't so great. And believe me, I hear you. And I don't think I understood this when I got into this business 2.5 years ago. But it is what it is. And the way out of that predicament is growth. It's a scale game. And that's why this expansion is so important. It's not about extra revenue so much as it's about surviving and sustaining and not eroding our revenue first. And then from there, yes, expanding and growing. So the point is, this isn't a matter of choice, this is a matter of necessity for us. So that's why these people are here, because it's not just about new jobs. Ultimately, if we don't grow, our revenue is eroded. And just like the people who stop coming to the meetings because there isn't enough pie for them to be incented to show up, eventually we can't operate because we're not generating enough revenue to cover our costs. And that is the fundamental problem. So, in sum, sorry for the long speech, but I guess what I would say is this. Look, are we perfect? No. But we've done a lot of good in this community. We've done a lot of good for our employees. 85 people strong, great benefits. We've got a huge opportunity with this expansion. It's a necessity to survive, but it's also an opportunity to grow. We are actively talking to capital providers right now. I'd say we're at the 20-yard line of getting something done, but none of them are aware of these regulations yet. And as written, we have an obligation to provide them, and that's going to scare them off. And so what we're asking for, we're asking the council to provide clarity tonight on these regulations, to make slight amendments. I mean, literally a matter of a few words could adjust it to make it so that it's clear that it does not apply to us. And then we're fine. We can proceed, we can raise the money, and we can get a deal done. And these jobs are secured, we get more jobs, more tax revenue, and a happy ending. That's what we're looking for, respectfully. And I am done. I don't know if anyone else wants to speak. Thank you.
Anybody else, please? And what's your name, sir?
Joe Gilbert?
Joan Gilbert?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you hear that, Jane? Okay.
Hello, everybody. Just like to speak on behalf of everybody here who came out. We all depend on families. This is our 8th. We like you here. David's come on board and done a wonderful job providing for the employees, providing for the company. A lot of changes have been made. It's amazing. Where we're at now compared to where we started. It's absolutely amazing. It's a great place to work for. We love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else, please?
we have a question over here, if I may.
Jim? Jim Brady?
Jim Heidi from Massena. You spoke about the regulations that are coming due or going to be proposed. At what level are these regulations being given to you? Or where are they coming from? And what are they? The regulations that he's referring to.
We've had people in the council working the last 2 years, working with Eric on new regulations, all in back and forth with David and his team
Okay.
to try to put down the proper verbiage. You probably are well aware, Jim, that in New York State, nobody has anything yet. So we're creating what others will probably end up following. So we want to do it right, but we also want to protect the people in Massena. Some of these businesses that were put in a few years ago that don't even compare to this situation have had some problems that have caused problems with residents. They're in an industrial area, which has been great. There's been others, as you know, that were not in industrial areas. They're in commercial or agricultural or semi-residential, and that does not work well. So because of that, we're trying to satisfy, to make sure that we maintain the right things for all of the Massena residents. But again, we got into the proper verbiage, we've got to work out the proper details. I thought we were almost there, but there's just, I think, a couple more steps we have to do.
And that makes sense, no
Yeah.
question.
Yeah,
On the pontoon road, you just approved a hydrogen plant to produce hydrogen, gas. That, there are several houses right next to that place. These folks are in the middle of nowhere. You've got 30 employees plus that I just saw counted here. We're in a county where the labor rate or the unemployment rate is staggering, okay? We're about to hear from people from the library that need funding. I mean, there's a lot of things, you need employment in this community. You got people that are buying and selling in this community. So it doesn't make any sense to scare away any business, and we've done that in the past. We've scared away business. I didn't even know, I'll be honest, I didn't even know we were talking here. Who are these people? You know, and I passed the plant. I mean, I used to work at General Motors. I passed the place every day. But to sit here and say that if this guy needs a few verbiage cleared and you guys don't approve and keep this place going, you know, shame on you guys, because they're paying town taxes, you know, and they're paying county taxes. So to scare away any business, you know, I would work diligently to make sure that they're staying in this community.
and I really do believe we have been working very, very hard on it the last couple of years.
Well, it shouldn't take a couple of years. You know, you don't have a couple of years. We're bleeding here in these communities up north. And you've got a governor that really doesn't care about upstate New York. We all know that, okay? So I would just say, I wouldn't turn these folks away, I'll tell you that.
Thank you, Jim. Anybody else, please?
My name's Andy Blaine. I'm the general manager of the NCCS facility, and I'll be pretty brief. I just want to speak to how good of an employer they are for this area. I was brought on board a little less than a year ago, and I wasn't asked to improve profits or to make the facility more profitable, to make more money. I was asked to make those more desirable jobs for people. I was asked to improve conditions. I've never been given that kind of directive, and I've been managing industrial plants for about 20 years. I was happy to get that, and I've received nothing but support from upper management in the company for changes that drastically improve things for the employees. And I've always been shocked by the lengths that they will go to do good things for the employees and the concern that they show for them. And I think that that really means something, and I think it would be a real loss for Massena to lose an employer like that. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Anyone else? Yeah.
Hello, my name is Skylar Cameron. I grew up in Massena, went to high school here. I left Massena after I graduated high school to move to Florida to search for a better job. Unfortunately, I could not find it, and I found myself back here, kind of at square one, and decided to start working for NCCS. And over the last 5 years, they have changed my life almost. Like, they've given me opportunity over opportunity, provided me with any schooling or any type of help that I needed to get where I want to get in life. So, yes, very passionate about this place, and I think that there's a couple people in here that would agree. So, very happy working here, and it would be a shame to see it go.
Anyone else, please? In the back first. Your
Hi,
name,
my name's
please?
Joshua Charleston. I've lived in North Country my whole life. I've worked for a lot of companies around here, construction companies, demolition companies, all sorts of companies, and I've never worked for a company that tries to show that they appreciate their employees as much as they do. The things that they do, they go above and beyond. The benefits they offer, the flexibility in your schedule for your children. I have 6 children myself. And to be able to just call and say, hey, I gotta leave a little bit early, one of my kids is in the hospital, like, okay, go do what you gotta do. I've never worked for a company like that. I've lost a lot of jobs that way, because my family has always come first, and that's the way it always will be. The things they do for not just the employees, but their families, they go above and beyond to make sure that you know that they appreciate you and they understand that you have a family at home. There's not a lot of companies around here that will pay the way these guys pay us, and the benefits and the health insurance. There's a lot of benefits to working with this company. I hate to see this company go, because that's gonna put me back out looking for another crappy company to go find a job with. And quite honestly, the schedule is amazing. The people we work with are amazing. The things the extracurricular things they do for the people in the company and the community. I've never seen a company around here do these things for these people in the community. So if you push this company out, like he said, shame on every single one of you, because it's absolutely impossible to find a company like this one looking for around here.
Thank you. Your name?
Hi, I'm Zachary Smith. I've lived in Massena and Louisville my entire life. And I've been working here my entire adult life. I started at TJ Maxx as a teenager, and I went to Canib's picking apples for minimum wage for 5 years. No one in town wanted to give me an opportunity. NCCS did. I started at the base as an operator. I moved up to a supervisor, and then, because I didn't want to take on managerial roles, I moved into an inventory management, not management, managing inventory position. And no one else would give me opportunities like that. Especially after 2 years ago, when I came to them and said, you know, I'm having mental health issues. I don't know what to do. I can't be a supervisor anymore. They gave me a new position. They helped me when they didn't need to. And it means a lot. And that's, I just want you all to know that.
Thank you for telling us that.
Of course.
My name is Elias Jacobs. I am one of the newer hires for NCCS. I started maybe about 6 months ago almost. And ever since they brought me on, Andy, Shane, over there, they both brought me in and treated me like I've been there for a while. Along with what Skylar said, along with what Josh says, they help us provide for our families. Out of high school, I didn't go to school. I operated the trades, basic frameworking. After that, I hopped into roofing, and then that didn't work out. And Shane and Andy both gave me a chance to put my skills to the test for this company. And I look forward to working with them for years to come.
Thank
Heidi said, I graduated in 2016. I graduated at the top of my class in the St. Lawrence Lewis BOCES in HVAC. I went around to about, I don't know, probably 2 months to every single place around here that does HVAC trying to get a job, and they all said they want at least 2 years of experience on job. So I could not get a job in the field that I went to school for around here, unfortunately. So I went to this place, and they've made me a supervisor in the field that I'm in, and I really appreciate this place. And hopefully you guys can see that with what Mr. Heidi said, we are dying here, we're bleeding this company here, town, and we can't be doing this anymore. We need to keep growing, and hopefully you guys can see that.
Okay, thank you. There was someone else that wanted, yes, what's your name, please?
My name is Jessina LaFerrier.
Jessie?
Jessina LaFerrier.
Chatina. Okay,
I would like to say that NCCS is a great company. They provided for me at the time that I needed it, offering me a job, where other places don't have the jobs, or they were just like, we're not hiring her, and so forth. This company is great. They have worked with me in a lot of ways, and with the healthcare, and they're awesome. And I have to say too, another thing about, as David said, as we give to the community, just today, we got Easter baskets for all of our kids, grandkids and stuff like that. So that was pretty good, because some of us, those baskets are expensive. So some of us, it's a lot of money. So that saved us from buying the Easter baskets. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to work with everyone, and I hope that we can continue to work with everyone. And please don't take our jobs away. We have kids, some people have grandkids, and, we need a roof over our head. We need to eat. We need to take care of ourselves. We don't want to be unemployed. We don't want to be homeless. There's too many homeless people in this world. All we're asking for is just our jobs, so that we can do better things for the community. Thank you.
Pat, go ahead. Tell who you are, please.
Pat O'Brien, Chief of the Massena Fire Department. So just a different perspective, not really different, supporting. So with the fire department side of it, we've dealt with every crypto business up here. And we have not had a good experience with any of them, with the exception of these guys. They've been fantastic, they've been proactive. Anytime we've reached out to them for support, they have supported us 100%. So fire department appreciates everything you've done for us and for the community, and the fire department's behind you 100%.
Okay, if there's nobody else, we do want to extend the fact that our council believes in you. We've been very grateful for all that you've done. We were very pleased. We were actually asked early on to go for tours. All of us have been there for tours. We've seen how it's done. And we actually have a lot of support for you. We certainly want you to stay here. But we also have to work on these regulations. I thought we had almost to the 11th hour, and then we had to fix something. But we're going by the process, and we have to have this thing taken care of. And Eric, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, so I think it's important for everybody to know that, the board has worked extensively, not just among themselves, but actually with the folks who are in the room this evening, right? We've taken their input and their counsel with regard to the regulations. The board is aware of the impact to the community, and they kept that into consideration and took their thoughts and their drafting notes when creating the legislation as it's proposed. Right, so I want to make sure there's not an idea out there. I heard the phrase "spraying suddenly," and that struck me as a little bit not close, not accurate, because there has been constant consultation with these folks, and the regulations themselves contain a specific grandfathering provision that says that their current operations won't be affected. Right, and that's a legacy of New York zoning law. It's pretty standard. So I just want to make sure that there's an understanding out there that it's expansion and regulations are gonna apply to. There's no attempt by this board or any others to damage what has been an incredible success story in Massena.
So Eric, my question is though, are they local regulations, or are they state, federal, like, where are these regulations coming
These are
from?
local regulations.
Local, okay.
And the idea is, just for instance, right, the board made it really clear that they wanted, you know, these crypto mining type of companies to be in the industrial zone, right? And prior to the board coming up with this,
They're in it?
yeah, right, so this wouldn't affect them in that respect at all, right? In fact, these regulations for their current operations don't have any impact, right? Now, if they were gonna be building, let's say, new buildings out there as part of the expansion, right? Same as if Alcoa built new buildings, or Pease and Gustafson built a, you know, a fourth floor on our building, right? The zoning regulations would apply, right? And that's clearly in here. I'm not sure how we get around that, or what the board feels on it, but I just think it's clear, because I know we got some, it sounds like some worried people. I wanna make sure that, you know, we know that this is something the board has worked on and has really considered the wonderful impact that they've had on the community.
But you just highlighted a couple regulations that are favorable to them right now. What more could there be? You've mentioned that they have to be in an industrial zone. They're in an industrial zone.
Yeah,
They have to meet-
but right now, if you were, say you were an entity that was brand new startup with 5 computers and a shipping container, and you wanted to put it in, I don't know, on Clarkson Ave, right, my street, right, a residential neighborhood. Our zoning code doesn't have anything that regulates that.
And that makes sense. That makes sense. You know, why would they?
You'd want to.
Why would they?
That, right?
Well, I wouldn't want it in my neighborhood, number one, but I see this one that's on the Alcoa Road. It's a standalone little unit all by itself. I'm assuming that's the same type of operation. Am I right in that?
Those type of operations were put in before the moratorium and before we had any local zoning on the books, right? And what the local zoning is trying to do is to prohibit those types of things from happening, especially in residential areas where there could be a negative impact on the neighborhood.
Well, I would use the same verbiage or whatever that you just approved a hydrogen plant within the, 100 yards of dozens of homes. And I'll tell you what, that's more,
I think you gotta get your measuring tape out there, but that's
or
another story.
200 yards. But I'm just saying, that is more volatile than what these guys are doing. I had a fellow send me a letter, I wouldn't read it because he didn't sign it, where he outlined 10 years of these plants blowing up. I wasn't gonna say it, but I'll tell you, that's the letter that this guy sent. But here's you got an operation it just keeps ticking. So I'm hoping it's gonna be favorable for you guys.
So, I just want to be clear. I agree with Eric that we've been working with the town in good faith on the draft regulations. But from our perspective, with the understanding that we would be fully grandfathered in, not just our existing operations. The key is the expansion. And that's why I went through that example about the pie and the shrinking pie, and maybe that was confusing. But at the end of the day, I agree with it. It's all about the expansion. We acknowledge that our existing operations are grandfathered in by the language. The problem is there's wording, it's maybe 5 words. But any expansion thereof shall be subject to these regulations. That's the problem. That's all we're asking for to be absolved of. You know, and I'm not picking on Eric, but I mean, he's using the example. If Alcoa builds a new building, they're subject to zoning laws and fire code in the new building, but they're not subject to all these extra fire retardant requirements that we could never possibly afford or live with in a massive facility. So there's all these extra regulations being imposed on us for expanding that wouldn't apply to other businesses, and by the way, shouldn't apply to our businesses because they don't fit what we do. They do fit, I think, what these small operators do. And let's remember, as a community, I mean, why are we even considering regulation? It's because of the operators on the side of the road that are causing nuisance to people because they're unsightly, they make noise, and they're probably unsafe. None of that applies to us. So all we're asking for is to have a full exemption, not just our existing business, but our expansion. By the way, the expansion is the same thing. It's just more of what we're already doing. And I agree, maybe there's some ambiguity. Well, is that really an expansion? Because you're just continuing what you're doing. The problem is not what I think, or anyone here thinks, it's what the capital providers think. They're gonna see that language, but any expansion thereof, subject to these regulations, and they're gonna kill the whole deal. I'm not exaggerating, it's a deal killer. So that's what we're asking for, just to be specific.
I just wanna state, I've got the utmost respect for Eric, he knows that. And I just wanted clarity as to where the glitch is, if you will. That's, I know you'll do the right thing and so will the board.
Yeah, and Jim, just, again, so we're clear, you know, this board has worked incredibly hard to make sure that we're doing such, to do the regulations in a way that protect the community from the smaller, perhaps less sophisticated mining companies, right, in a way that would allow these guys to do what they do. Right? And we're working on ways to strike that balance so that, again, you know, we're protecting the community on one hand, right, but allowing a successful entity to thrive the way they should.
I can appreciate that.
Thank you very much. At this time, we have one more? Your name is?
My name is Javed Afzali. I'm counsel for NCCS. And just to kind of bring this to perspective, and really just the nuts and bolts. So, you know, the advice has always been, let the lawyers talk, we'll figure it out. And it's great advice from the town board. But what we can't do as lawyers is to change the legislation in such a way that will go against your intent. And so what we're asking is very modest changes to the language with respect to the exemptions and how they apply to expansions. And Eric can't make that change by himself. I can't make that change for you guys, only you can. And so what we're asking is for you to consider those changes in another sentence or two in there that solve an ambiguity as to how it applies to expansions. And if you'd accept those changes, the problem gets resolved for us. And that's what we're asking.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you all very much. And again, we need a motion to close the public hearing, please.
Motion.
Okay, Pat, and a second.
I'll second.
Adrian, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. At this time, another announcement, we're gonna continue the meeting, so you can stay for the whole time, doesn't matter, okay. Anyway, I wanna thank, we had for our water grants, some announcements. We've had both Senators Chuck Schumer and Congresswoman Lee Stefanik provide funding for the water project on the South Racket. We've seen that in the papers. I appreciate the articles are already written by Bob and Jeff in those newspapers telling us exactly that, and we certainly want to thank them in public again. I'd also like to remind people that I went to the library last Saturday, and I really like art shows. They're my kind of cup of tea. So if you get a chance this week to the library, they have a great art show. Go in and see some of the ones on display, please. Probably some of your friends have some nice products there. So if you can get to the library, please, okay? We're gonna go ahead now to approval of minutes for February 21st. Somebody needs to make a motion. Who is it? Adrian, second by Pat, all in favor? Okay, let's go ahead to the resolutions. Authorize the town board to approve a one-time training services fee with Edmunds GovTech in the amount of $350 for the migration of the BAS, which is Business Application Solutions system, to the new server. And that helps out the town clerk's office.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and that's Adrian. Okay, Christie seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve of the town board to support the continued operation of the New York State Correctional Facilities in St. Lawrence County. Many, I shouldn't say all, many of the other towns have already sent in this resolution to support keeping our prisons open.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Adrian, in a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we got Ray for a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approval from the town board for the town supervisor to sign the airfield marking improvements project with CNS engineers.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, so we got Ray and, was it Pat? And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approve for the town board to amend the non-contract policy from May 2023 to add the first section about part-time employees, which we had historian, archivist, we're adding code enforcement officer and keyboard specialist. And the fourth section, of course, statement about the museum, adding the work week for part-time employees of code enforcement and keyboard specialists to add to that same paragraph as them.
Motion.
Okay, Pat, in a second.
I'll second.
Christie, all in favor?
Aye.
Good. Okay, approve for the town board to complete an IFE, which is independent fee estimate for the proposed sand storage building construction project at the airport.
I'll make the motion.
Adrian,
I'll second it.
and second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Authorizing the town board to approve the contract documents with Baseline King Corporation for the construction of the airfield electrical improvements, which we've had problems with for many years. In fact, this year, I think it's probably one of the, I wish Dylan were here, he's not here tonight, but they had many, many problems, of course, during a very cold winter in 22, 23. We had to have Baseline come up and try to make those improvements along the airstrip. So anyway, motion for Baseline again. Ray, and a second.
Second.
Okay, Christie, all in favor?
Aye.
Let me see here. Authorizing the town board at this time to pass a seeker resolution declaring the intent to be lead agency, whereas the town of Massena Town Board desires to enact a local law regulating the operation of cryptocurrency mining operations within the town. We have to do a seeker. They are required, a seeker is required by all local, regional, and state government agencies to equally examine the environmental impacts along with the social and economic considerations for a certain project or an action during discretionary review. We have to do that for the next step. Could I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Adrian, and a second.
Second.
Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
So while we're on the topic of
Sure.
the local law,
yeah.
if, I don't know what the board is thinking in terms of, discussing potential changes to it, but if the board is inclined to do that, what we should do is schedule a public hearing for next month to extend the moratorium for 60 days.
To extend the moratorium?
Yeah,
For how long, Eric?
60 days.
60 days?
60 days. Yeah, because it just, we're gonna get cramped for time
Yeah, I think so too.
if we're gonna do some changes. I know, I've spoken with Jibbit, and I think, if we wanna do some back and forth, he's got some proposed language
Good.
that I'm not 100% on board with. I think there's some back and forth that needs to happen. And if we can come to an agreement on that, such that the board is happy, not that we really need agreement to pass the statute, but, again, assuming that we can reach something that makes everyone happy, we're gonna have to have another public hearing,
Okay.
right? And so we're just gonna get cramped for time quick
So should we make a resolution at this time for a public hearing?
to extend the moratorium for
Extend the
60
moratorium?
days.
Okay, all right. So we need a motion for that.
Motion.
Yeah.
Christie, and a second with Pat. Others in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Eric, can we use the same wording we've used on the moratoriums, just change the dates?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I'll send the draft local law.
okay.
Who did what? Sorry.
Motion.
You motioned and who
Yes.
seconded?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. town supervisor to sign the final application for the airfield pavement marking design and construction. Okay, that's for Ray, and a second, please. Okay, Pat, and all in favor? Okay. I'll approve the town board to award the contract to Highlight Airfield Services for the marking improvements, all different parts of this grant. Okay?
Motion.
Okay, so Christie and Ray, all in favor? You got everything? Janine and Sean, I know I'm talking faster. Approve of the town board to accept the IFE from McFarland Johnson for the sand storage building. And again, I remember Dylan telling me they went out for some good bids, and that was the restaurant, so that's good. Okay, Christie, and second, please. By Ray is seconded. All in favor? Okay. Approve of the town board to acknowledging the required examinations conducted for the justice court records for 2022. Okay, all these New York State regulations are coming in that we have to have done. So motion by Pat, anybody else? Second by Adrian, all in favor? Okay. Approve the town board for the supervisor to sign the advanced business systems quote for a telephone for the new keyboard specialist position. Okay, Christie, and a second?
Second.
Okay, Pat, all in favor? Okay. And continuing on.
Is that a new position or an added position?
That will be a new position that we had authorized last month
For what department?
for the bookkeeper and secretary.
Bookkeeper and secretary.
She's spending so much time on grant papers, the paperwork is phenomenal, that we need somebody else in there, hopefully to
No,
take
just
over some of
curious
that.
as to.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing, Jim, the paperwork alone just for grants. Yeah. Authorize the town board to accept a proposal from Bowers and Company for the preparation of the town's annual financial reports.
Make the motion.
Okay, Adrian, and second. Christie, thank you, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approve the town board for the town supervisor to sign the Brett Westgrove performance contract for Rock in the River.
Make the motion.
Okay, and that's Adrian, and seconded by Ray. All in favor? Okay. Going to transfers and amendments. The two people that were doing the auditing this month were,
Ray and Adrian.
okay, so here we go. Motion for the first one.
Make the motion that we accept the transfer amendments.
Okay, and a second by Ray, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now the warrants.
I make the motion that we accept the warrants.
Okay, and a second by Ray, okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
That's the easy stuff.
All right, now, Brenda, financial reports. Give us the lowdown here.
The revenue as of today, March 20th, we have collected $3,756,732. In 2023, at this time, we have collected $4,036,952. So our 2024 revenue is $280,220 less than March of 23.
2023, right? Less, okay.
Last year. Our expenses right now in 2024 are $2,059,599. In 2023, they were $1,764,321. So our 2024 expenses is $295,278 more than last year in March 2023.
Right. Everything's going up.
May I ask a question?
Some of this is time conditions, right?
Brenda, are we still receiving the high flow waters from the power authority?
Yes, but they've gone lower. The check, the
It's
check
less.
varies, it's less
Yeah, I
than
know.
what we've done.
So, but we're receiving them annually.
Okay, we have committee reports. Dylan is not here for the highway and the airport. Joint recreation, please, who's that?
It's me, Christie, but neither one of us were able to attend the meeting. Both of us were working at the time.
Did you get a copy of the minutes?
No, I did not get one.
We did not send anybody out there.
Really? We'll try to push them. Yeah.
speaking to Mike that there wasn't any kind of action or anything that was taken that was really that important. Other than what they had done, their monthly reports of what they accomplished and not for the arena and who used their rank.
Okay, how are we doing as far as budget, the planning for next year? Since they're going into budget season.
I didn't get that from them. I didn't get that from them at all about the budget. I don't even know how much of the budget spoke about, to be honest with you.
Could you reach out and find out for us?
Yes, I can.
Send us a note?
Yep, I can.
Okay, town library.
The library board met on March 12th,
Okay.
4:16 to 5:55.
Yeah.
They approved the agenda of the minutes from prior month. They discussed the eclipse meeting they had 43 attendees there. Yoga sessions, we have 50 people each. And they're doing digitizing videos there for the public if needed. Library visits were in 23, they're 3759 and 24, 4620. So their visits are up 861 visits. Wireless usage is 23 from 830 to 24 1938. That's up. Facebook visits are up 91%. We discussed the preliminary budget submitted for the referendum. They discussed the eclipse. The building's going to be closed at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The building is. They got 2,500 glasses.
Tell us about the glasses.
They're safety.
Well, everybody should be wearing them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, we want that, everybody know that.
We discussed that also, the safety for the public.
Yeah.
To raise the awareness. They have a food cart there on the April 8th for the, which would be Island's hot dog cart plus popcorn.
Okay.
They discussed communicating the annual report to the community, North Country Now, and papers and such. And they wanted to discuss at length messaging the public on the proposition for the referendum. And they got some fundraising events coming, and the next meeting will be April 9th at 4:15.
Thank you. And, Chamber of Commerce. Okay. Laura Pearson, the Massena Chamber Manager, is in Massena on Mondays and Tuesdays. Laura has already spoken at Rotary and other organization meetings and has reached out to over 57 local businesses so far. There will be a countywide business mixer April 30th at Best Western in Canton. That's always a good one to go to. And you can sign up for either of their newsletters, one for business, one for tourism. You can become a member as business or individual, or just by going to their website. And is Laura here tonight? Oh, Laura, please, introduce yourself, and what would you like to tell us? Because you're the new person here, and the city people need to know you. So
Is it okay if I speak from here?
You sure can.
Okay. My name is Laura Pearson. I am the coordinator for the Massena Chamber right now until we hire somebody permanently. We're working on a space for me. Right now I'm living out of my van. I'm here Mondays and Tuesdays, as Sue said. I'm promoting the Eclipse, and I've been to close to 100 businesses now because I've hit all of Main Street, West Main Street. I've been all over the place. Some of you may have seen me. If you haven't seen me yet, you'll see me soon. So be prepared. I have Eclipse posters with me. I have Eclipse glasses with me for sale. They're $3 each. Let's see what else. We have business after hours that we're having in Massena to kick off the Massena Chamber being back in office again. Sorry, I'm stumbling. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
Is that next week, or am I thinking?
It's the 27th. It's March 27th at the grist mill
Okay.
from 5 to 7. Everyone's welcome to attend. It's $5 if you're not a member of the chamber. If you would like to be a member, I have membership things here with me in case you're interested. And I'll be around, so you can always reach me anytime.
And that's from what to what next week?
5 to 7
5 to
at the grist mill brewery.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Is there a number for people to reach you if they want to join the chamber?
Yes. You can reach me through the main number. It's 315-386-4000. My extension is 5, and I get emails from my voicemail, so I can return your call. And I'd be happy to stop in anywhere. I've met with the men's business luncheon group. I'm scheduled to go to the Gun and Rod Club. Rod and Gun Club on a Tuesday. And other places in town as well. So if you'd like me to speak at any of your events, just let me know. Not that I'm such a great speaker, but, you know,
Hey,
I'm here.
You did very well at Rotary, it worked out very well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation. Thanks you.
Okay. Code officer,